You set the podcast to double speed before the host finishes saying good evening. The voice becomes a murmur of efficiency, words stacked too close to breathe between them. You tell yourself you are saving time. You tell yourself this is how you stay ahead. The phone warms against your palm and the amber light makes a small, restless rectangle on the ceiling, sliding back and forth as you turn from your left side to your right. You are not really listening. You are harvesting, collecting concepts the way a child collects stones on a beach, not to build anything, just to feel the weight of knowing they are in your pocket. An hour later, you are still awake. The podcast ended 20 minutes ago and you did not notice. The screen shows something else now. A face you do not recognize. A caption you will not remember. Your thumb moves upward in a motion so familiar it no longer registers as a choice. The glass is warm where your thumb rests. Your shoulder aches from the angle of holding the phone above your face. You keep scrolling. You have always been good at speed. At cramming. At making things smaller so they fit into the cracks of your day. You listen to voices at twice their natural pace because ordinary time feels wasteful. Because silence between sentences makes you aware of the room around you, and the room around you is dark and still and full of something you do not want to name. The sped-up voice fills the air like insulation. It keeps the cold out. But the feed is different. The feed does not ask you to keep up. It slows down for no one and waits for no one, and somehow that is exactly what you need. Each image arrives uninvited, a guest who does not knock. You do not have to prepare for it. You do not have to understand it. You only have to let it replace whatever was there before. Your eyes sting from the brightness. You blink and keep scrolling. A recipe video. A stranger's argument. A dog wearing sunglasses. Your thumb knows the way better than you do. You think about the podcast sometimes. You remember that you meant to learn something. You had plans for that knowledge. You were going to become someone who understood attachment theory, someone who could name the wiring behind their own restlessness. You were going to be the kind of person who reads the book instead of watching the summary. The kind of person whose phone is a tool and not a hand warmer. You set the speed to 2x because you believed you could compress growth into the gaps of a life that already feels too full, and somehow still empty. What you do not say out loud is that the podcast at normal speed feels intimate in a way that frightens you. When the host pauses to breathe, you hear your own breath underneath it. When a guest laughs, the sound echoes in your ribs. At double speed, the humanity is sanded off. The voice becomes information, and information is safe. Information does not ask you how you are. Information does not wait for you to answer. And then, somewhere in the middle of the night, a thought arrives without knocking. You realize you have been treating your own attention the way a miser treats coins, counting them, hoarding them, spending them only on things that promise return. The podcast at 2x is an investment. The scroll is, what? A leak? A hole in the purse? But the thought keeps unspooling, and you understand something you did not understand an hour ago. The scroll is not the opposite of the podcast. They are the same gesture wearing different masks. One squeezes experience until it fits your schedule. The other dissolves schedule entirely. Both are ways of refusing to be where you are. Both are ways of making sure you never arrive anywhere fully. You set the speed to 2x because some part of you believes that if you consume enough, if you gather enough voices and facts and frameworks, you will eventually stumble across the one that explains you to yourself. The one that makes the loneliness make sense. The scroll happens because that same part of you has given up on finding the answer and settled for the search itself. The search is easier. The search does not end. Your jaw is tight. You have not noticed until now. Your tongue presses against the roof of your mouth the way it does when you are trying not to cry, or trying not to feel, or trying not to remember that you are a body in a bed, in a room, in a city where no one knows you are awake right now. The phone is heavy. Your wrist is tired. You keep scrolling because stopping would mean lowering the phone. And lowering the phone would mean seeing the amber rectangle on the ceiling go dark. And if it goes dark, you will have to feel the weight of the silence that has been waiting underneath the noise all along. You think about the last time you sat with nothing. No voice in your ear. No glow on your face. Just the refrigerator humming and the faint smell of rain through the window someone left cracked open. You lasted 4 minutes. Then you reached for the phone, not because you wanted something, but because not wanting something felt like a kind of dying. The emptiness had edges. It pressed against your chest. You filled it with light and motion and the illusion of forward movement. The people who make these feeds understand something about you that you do not like to admit. They know that uncertainty is a kind of gravity. They know that the gap between one post and the next is a doorway, and you will keep walking through doorways forever if no one ever puts a wall at the end of the hall. Your nervous system does not track time. It tracks possibility. Each swipe is a small bet that the next thing might be the thing, the funny thing, the shocking thing, the thing that finally makes you feel something distinct enough to name. You have been placing these bets for an hour, and your winnings are a dry mouth and a headache and the vague suspicion that you have just spent 60 minutes becoming slightly less yourself. You remember being a child, waiting for the school bus in winter. The way your breath made clouds. The way minutes passed slowly enough to notice. The frost on the fence. The sound of a crow. You did not need to be anywhere else because you were already somewhere. Now you are never somewhere. You are always in transit between one input and the next. A commuter in a city with no addresses, riding trains that never stop long enough to open their doors. Your eyelids are heavy. The phone slips a little in your hand. You adjust your grip without looking away from the screen. The amber light on the ceiling flickers as you scroll past a video with flashing colors. For a moment, the whole room pulses like a heartbeat, like a warning, like a lighthouse beam sweeping across dark water. You do not register it as a warning. You register it as content. You tell yourself tomorrow will be different. Tomorrow you will listen at normal speed. Tomorrow you will set a timer before you open the feed. Tomorrow you will be the person who has boundaries, who respects their own time, who does not hand their consciousness over to strangers in exchange for the mild anesthesia of not having to think. You have been telling yourself this for 300 tomorrows. The words have worn smooth as river stones. They no longer cut. They simply roll around in your mouth, familiar and useless and oddly comforting, like a prayer you no longer believe but still know by heart. Your foot is cold, sticking out from under the blanket. You do not pull it back in. The cold is the only thing reminding you that you have a body, that you take up room, that you are not just an eye attached to a thumb attached to a glowing rectangle. You let the foot stay cold. It feels like honesty. You think about turning the phone off. Your thumb hovers over the button. The screen goes dark for a half second before your face unlocks it again, automatically, without thought. You did not decide to keep scrolling. Your hand decided for you. The muscle remembers what the mind has forgotten. The amber rectangle returns to the ceiling, restless, searching, never still. There is no ending here. No moral. No turning point where you set the phone down and stare at the ceiling and feel the relief of finally stopping. That is not how it goes. The feed will end when your eyes finally close, when the battery dies, when the alarm you set 6 hours ago starts playing a song you used to love and now feel nothing toward. Until then, you will keep moving. Through voices compressed to half their size. Through images that dissolve before they land. Through the long, unmeasured hours where you are neither asleep nor awake, neither learning nor resting, just present enough to feel the absence of everything you are not doing, and far enough gone to keep doing nothing anyway. The amber light makes its small rectangle on the ceiling. It moves when you move. It stays when you stay. It does not judge. It only watches, patient and constant, the way a nightlight watches a child who is afraid of the dark. Except you are not a child, and you are not afraid of the dark, and the light is not there to comfort you. It is there because you cannot bring yourself to reach over and turn it off. If this found you at the right hour, you already know there is nothing to fix. You might want to stay a while.